Hello, welcome everybody to Agency College Recruit webinar series. We've been talking to junior golfers and their parents and also tournament uh, organizers about the AJGA golf tournament, which going to happen in Thailand in May. And we've been talking to junior golfers who have their success stories, choosing AJGA as their pathway in going to college. And today we are lucky to have George Duangmanee Jr. to join us. สวัสดีค่ะ George ครับ You get the turn on your microphone, please.
Hello, everyone. It's
All right.
good to be able to share my experiences with all of you.
All right. Because right now you are in the University of Virginia, and you're on the men's golf team. So your pathway to where you are is significant because University of Virginia is top schools, and you're doing so well in education and in sports. So can we just take you back to where you were young and you start taking golf seriously? When do you realize that you really want to be serious about golf?
Well, I started playing golf around 6 years old, and at the time I started playing tennis before playing golf. But that's where my drive for competition really started. I really love competing and being out there trying to beat someone and just trying to give it my best every day. And I saw golf as an opportunity to get me to the next level, which is college. So I focused my time into golf and wanted to get a good education, which I got at the University of Virginia, but also compete at a high level of college. And I think coming to the University of Virginia was a good choice for me. Yeah, in both competing every day and getting the academic achievements that I have so far.
So you realize that you're also doing good, doing well in school, and also competing in sports is something that drives you. So
Yeah.
you start taking tournaments when you're young, right? And how did you go by like picking where you want to start?
So I started playing in when I was a kid, just playing local and regional events. Those were like my entryway into tournament golf. And I wanted to, as I started getting better at golf, I realized that I needed to start traveling and start playing higher level tournaments such as the AJGA, which is the best junior golf tour in America or even the world. And it didn't matter which tournament you go to, you'd be competing against the best in the country. So that's kind of the pathway I took to get noticed by coaches and eventually end up in playing for school.
And in AJGA, I understand that there are many tournaments. And why is it that a lot of people give high regards to AJGA, including the coaches, college coaches, that say, why do they go to AJGA to look out for their potential players? What do you think are the factors?
Well, I said that AJGA was the best junior golf tour in the country. So every tournament they run is high class, and you just know that when you go to a tournament, everyone's going to be serious. It's going to be a different atmosphere. It's going to be very similar to like what you see on TV in pro golf. So AJGA does take running their tournaments really seriously, and I really appreciated that they did that because it prepares you later in life.
So they organize it in that it looks like basically senior tournaments, right? how they put the quality of the courses and things like that, the way they're scoring. But I understand, explain the star system, that's something that is significant. Like why you think that earns you so much.
No, stars are very important in gaining your way into these AJGA tournaments.
Mm-hmm,
I remember realizing how important it was at an early age. So that's why I would drive 4 to 6 hours just to go play a 1 day event to gain maybe 4 stars. And
mm-hmm.
this is how you get into tournaments, and these are the opportunities you can like get through the AJGA. So gaining stars is very important. Um, yeah, like I realized that. So
Yeah. So every tournament, when you start, like your first, think about the kids that just joined their first AJGA, what to expect, you know? I think they're like a junior, how long? Like 10 to 12 probably when they start.
yeah, for many of them, it would be probably the highest level tournament they've played. And so you'd expect a well-run tournament. You'd expect great competition.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and you'd expect to play on a really good golf course. So just having that that expectation and that anticipation for me going to AJGA tournament was really exciting.
Yeah. So you earn your stars, and once you start having accomplishments, you get invited to more, right? Is that is how they organize it?
Can
So
you
do you
repeat that
get
again?
invited to a lot?
Um, yeah, so there are different levels to the AJGA.
Mm-hmm.
The open tournaments, you really need stars to get into, and everyone has stars. So having the most stars is key, and you have more priority getting into these tournaments. But so that's through the opens, and once you've played in enough of them, uh, there's invitationals you can play in, which are like the the best of the best AJGA tournaments. So that's where all the kids that you see that go to high level golf programs, they
Mm,
all compete in those too.
mm. And is it true that in AJGA, even in the States, there are so many international golfers that participate? Like they basically come from around the world for that, right?
Yeah. Basically every AJGA tournament I played in, you could see
Mm-hmm.
maybe 10 international kids at least playing in
Mm,
these. So it was really cool to see AJGA reaching out to being noticed by these kids outside of our country. So
mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. So you make new friends from the tournament as well? Do you like see each other a lot? Is that lots of friendly competition going on?
yeah. So during the AJGA, when I was growing up, I would kind of see the same 30 people, 20 people every single tournament. And we kind of
Mm-hmm.
like became friends, and
Mm-hmm.
we would always like talk to each other. It was just kind of cool. Um, but even now in college, I still see a lot of the kids I grew up playing with in the AJGA. And yeah, it is really cool to catch up with them, like reminisce on old times. And these guys are gonna be my friends for my whole entire life. So it is it is cool to see AJGA is not just about the golf. It's also about the people that you meet like and creating like lifelong friendships.
Mm-hmm. Mm. I think that's important too because for kids, when they're young, and life balance. It's a challenge, if you focus on just sports and try to win so much, and then you kind of lose sight of how you live quality of life. And so when you have friends in the tournament, I used to hear that, like golf is such a gentleman's sport in that you're not competing with the next guy, you're competing with yourself. So it's not like when you see competitors, you are what do you call it? Like these are your enemies that you have to beat, right? Is that true for kids? Anyway, at that age.
I think growing up, it's important to understand that the golf doesn't have to be the main focus. It also can be about, I mean, like I said, about being like enjoying being out on the golf course and enjoy competing against yourself, competing against your score. Um, you're not necessarily competing against other people, but that is how you place in tournaments. But golf golf is also a battle within yourself. So learning how to enjoy playing golf is really important.
So since we already know that you are doing well both in schools and in golf, do you play other sports as well? You still continue playing tennis?
Um, I I have picked up a tennis racket maybe 2 or 3 times since I've came to school at UVA.
Mm,
But I think golf is really my main focus right now. I
mhm.
am open to the opportunities that I could, or I am open to trying out different sports, but I don't think I would be really competitive at
Mm,
any of them.
mhm.
Just if I were to
Yeah.
pick up another sport, it would just be for fun.
Yeah, I think that's the key, but because you focus on what sports to excel in and to compete for your track record, but you can enjoy other sports as well. And I think one questions that I want to ask on behalf of lots of parents is that um, how do you work through schools? Have your eyes set on being student athlete at the time, or you just focus on the competition? What's the balance in that?
Early, that's a good question. Early on, I was more focused on like being competitive and worrying about like what I was doing through junior golf and
Mhm,
focusing on what I can control.
mhm,
But I mean, going back to the AJGA, like every golf coach in the nation is checking out the scores every week. So I was lucky enough to not
ah,
have to, I was lucky enough that I played in a lot of AJGAs to where my name was out there and
mhm,
all the coaches could recognize my name on the leaderboard and see that I was
mhm,
playing and seeing what I was shooting. So I was lucky that I didn't have to necessarily reach out to schools for them to look at me. They kind of saw me through the AJGA, and
mm,
um,
mhm.
which I was lucky that I had that pathway to
Yeah.
college.
So I understand that coaches do go to the tournaments uh, themselves if they could, and they also follow the results through other media. Is that true?
Yeah, every AJGA you will see maybe 5 to 10 golf coaches every week, and not I mean not necessarily during their season or when the college season is, but especially during the summer, they will for sure be at AJGAs, and
Mm,
um, some will be local schools, other will be regional, like national schools. Like they would fly into AJGAs to come watch the kid. So it college coaches do put a lot of emphasis and thought into when they're recruiting, and
mm.
the AJGA is one of the things that they do look at.
Mm. Mm-hmm. So, so you grow up, you compete in tournaments, junior, and I understand that you live in Virginia and going to your University of Virginia is probably like a given, but have you considered elsewhere or why do you, how do you choose your colleges and what's the decision to choose Virginia?
Yeah, UVA was definitely one of the top schools that I was looking at. They were following me for 3 or 4 years before I actually committed to the school. And
Mm,
I had a good relationship with both coaches since they've came out to watch me play various, like
mm,
numerous of times. So
mm-hmm,
I did build up a good relationship with the coaches. But I was like recruited heavily elsewhere, along the East Coast, so East Coast of the United States. So I did have some options in where I wanted to go to, but I did choose UVA because of how good academically it was and how their golf program was like was ascending. So
mm,
I did uh, picking an academic school was one of the key things for me too. It's because in golf you can, after college, who knows what can happen. You get lucky, you make it to the big tour. But for most people, having a second option or second path after college, is very important. And I think UVA
mm.
does set me up for a uh, good future.
Okay. Good. What's your major in what's your
Uh,
program major?
I'm studying economics.
Oh, okay. So you have that plan now, right? To go to economic schools and playing golf is actually the entryway into college. You get scholarship from year one, right? Because coaches recruited you. When did they commit you before like maybe grade 10, grade 11?
Um, so I committed before all the rule changes to when coaches could uh, talk to kids. So
Oh, okay.
I committed October of my sophomore year,
Mm,
which is so yeah, it was pretty early.
yeah. Okay. So what do you think is with your peers, other golfers in college, student athletes that are um competing with you in college, do you feel that they have the same goal of playing golf as one option, or most of them basically focus on being like professional after graduation, things like that? What's your feel about the other kids in similar situation?
Um, I think it, like having another option after, if you're not going to pursue pro golf, is always in the back of everyone's mind of, because it is the reality of it is it is hard to make it onto the tour. So,
Mm,
but I think, I mean, I'm speaking for my team. I think a lot of us do want to, are intending to play professional golf. And
mm,
it is cool to see how we can come to the golf course every day and everyone is like-minded in that sense and always trying to get better and always trying to push each other to get better, because we ultimately we do have the same goal of wanting to play professional golf. So it is cool. Like college golf is a very cool experience, and I'm lucky to
mhm.
have experienced it. And yeah, you're just with a lot of like 12 of your best friends every single day.
Wow. That's good to hear. What What do you think? Being a golfer, basically sportsman, um, we know that they develop certain skills. But what do you think are important skills that you picked up in sports that are probably helpful for you in your future career? Like
I've always,
competing,
yeah,
why is it important?
I think competing is probably the main thing, along with time management and work ethic. So,
Mm-hmm,
I mean, I'll start on competing. It's competing, like always trying to do your best, no matter like how you feel that day or given the circumstances. So competing, like if like when it relates to golf, like the conditions are tough, or you know that you're in a really strong field and you might not feel like you're the best player, but trying to compete and trying to do your best every day is very important. And I think that's like one of the main things I've learned from golf, and just trying not to have to something, just always trying to do your best. And
mm-hmm.
then I think
Wow.
time management in golf or even in college, which I've picked up on, is trying to prioritize what's important during the day to get done. So for me, it was golf and school. Those were my priorities, and those were the first things I had to get done um, every day before I could do anything else, like enjoy my time or whatever. Getting your homework done, practicing, and yeah, taking care of yourself, like learning how to manage your time well and efficiently
Mm-hmm,
is very important. Not just in not I mean just not just in college, but also the rest of your life. So
mm-hmm,
this is very important stuff to learn, and I wish I did
mm-hmm.
learn it sooner, but it is something that I did pick up, and I am trying to tell other kids that have entered college.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one I mentioned was work ethic, which does go
Mm-hmm.
back to competing a little bit, um, showing up every day to practice and having intent to get better. It's just not the quality, or it's just not the quantity of practice. It's about the quality of practice.
Mm-hmm.
And just because practice is only 3 hours long doesn't mean you should only stay 3 hours. You should stay maybe, I don't know, just try to put more effort into your practices and stay out there longer, and show to the coaches that you do care about playing golf and you do want to do what's best for you in the future.
Mm-hmm. Um, Kids growing up playing golf, I understand most of them have coaches, if not their fathers. Uh, how do you feel that college coaches are different from like personal coach or coach that kind of push you through when you were young, and how do they work differently?
Well, I would say the college coaches are, they do have to look out after 12 or 13 guys. So it's not like their main focus is on you. You're
Mm-hmm,
so you do have to take care of yourself, um,
mm-hmm,
and think about what's best for you in the moments. But golf, but your swing coach or college coaches, they're always trying to make you better. I think that's a very key similarity of both of them. They want you to succeed. Um, they will try to make you better, and whether that's through watching you hit on the range or giving you a little swing advice, um, I think that's the main focus on coaches. In the general sense, coaches do make you want to get better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And do they help you with like when choosing which tournament to play and who goes where? How do they, you know, uh fill that role like a consultant as well?
Which type of coaches?
Yeah. That like college coach, do they like advise you on other things? Yeah, not just playing or your performance, but I mean how you pursuing tournaments and things like that. Do they give advices on other things? Do you guys watch like uh PGA together and criticizing and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not all about the golf, since you're trying to build a
Mm,
relationship with them. They're kind of
mm,
like your friends. So I think
mm,
looking at them as your friends more than coaches, they do
mm,
want they you can always hang out with them or ask them any advice, maybe on like school. It doesn't have to be about golf. So
mm.
they're more like they can be mentors in a way, trying to guide you through what is college. So um, yeah, they are good resources to have. You can ask them anything. They've been coaching forever. They've seen what's worked in college, what hasn't worked in college, and
Mm, mm.
they've given you good advice. They've given me a good advice too.
I think that's important because they work with kids on this age range for so long, right? In probably 19 18 19 to 20 something, so they become expert on that. So with their experiences they can see what's important there and maybe even give a life advice as well, not just game. Yeah. So, with the relationship, I've heard so much of the between the players and their coach. I think one key thing is that going to school like VGA, you have to graduate like other students. So they don't want you to fail. They want you to graduate with as much quality as other UA graduate. So I think that's why it's they're not gonna fail the school and they're not gonna fail the team. So the drive is quite significant to your development. So I think we are going into Q&A soon, but what do you think is the key learning as a junior golfers coming to college that you like to share before we go into the Q&A, and we'll take Q&A from the audience later.
I think one of the key things that junior golfers can do right now is building good habits. Like showing
Mm,
up, showing up to practice every day and not goofing around and trying to get your work done that you've intended to have, or you set out having a plan at practice every day. Um, so, but also trying to enjoy being out on the golf course, because that's where you're going to be for the majority of your day. You want to have fun when you're out competing, or with, you just want to have fun. That's you're trying to develop good habits and try to have fun.
mhm. Yeah. So in the audience, we understand we have a 12-year-old from Vietnam, Luis. He's hitting 75 right now from red tee. So he is on the good way. He would like to uh, attend AJGA in Thailand, right? And so I could give him a little more inspiration and encouragement.
Yeah, it seems like he's shooting good scores at a young age. So that's very promising. And I think continuing on that pathway, like competing against yourself, like as I said, trying to break 75, trying to break par, having a new goal in mind or a new step to achieve, and always trying to get better. I think that is very important.
Mhm. Okay, we've got a question from Kun Boom that asks how much dad had helped you along the way, and how much and how, I guess.
Yeah, I think my dad was really supportive of my love for golf and how much I loved playing tournaments. And he would always travel with us, and we would try to map out golf courses during the practice round. That's kind of
Mm-hmm,
what I remembered the most, like
mm-hmm,
having the meetings after the long day of trying to get to know the golf course and kind of setting out a game plan, like we were all
mm-hmm,
as a team, was
mm,
something that I remembered the most. But he didn't necessarily try to push me into the direction of golf. I I kind of found that on my own, and he just kind of
mm,
supported that mission that I wanted to be on. So I'm
mm,
really lucky that he did that.
mm-hmm. So that's the balance between being a daddy and like a coach, right?
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't really much of a coach. He was kind of just a supporter out there, wanting me like
Mm-hmm,
kind of just like wanting me to have fun.
mm-hmm,
Um, so he wasn't really, like I said, he didn't push me at all. It was just like me wanting it for myself.
mm-hmm. Yeah. He's obviously proud of you very much. And uh, what I like to find out, like being in a family that play so much sport and competing, what's the life balance in the family, you think?
Yeah, I think since I do have a little brother that is also at university reading it with me, I think the dynamic is a little bit different than most families, because we would be at the golf course we all day, and we have each other's company um to keep us like fun and like keep us happy. We would always, like, my brother and I would always have games to play, um,
Mm-hmm,
practice partners, or even like going out to get food, whatever. Like we would always, my brother and I were just hanging out with each other at the golf course every single day. And yeah, I am very lucky that I do have him, that how much he loves golf too. We would just share that love for it.
mm-hmm. So it's like what you enjoy, even if it's hard work, you don't feel that it's a big pressure, but it's something to enjoy with your family, actually, right? Uh, so can I take questions from the audience? You can raise your hand and turn on your camera and speak up, or you can also type. Kun Pantip ค่ะ Go ahead ค่ะ
Yeah, Joe, quick question is, what is a trait or a skill set that college coaches look for when recruiting a player? And like, what do they value most from you?
Um, the one trait that I've heard the most from college coaches was how you react to bad shots on the golf course. Uh, I can't tell you the amount of times I've heard coaches like walk away from a kid when they're watching them play, because they throw a tantrum or throw a club. They want to see you. They want to see how you handle adversity, and having the self-belief that you can overcome what you just did on the golf course. So yeah, I think trying to train yourself in not getting mad or getting frustrated or too often on the golf course is very important in the eyes of college coaches. And what was the second part of your question?
Hello, I'm Vicky from Vietnam.
Uh,
Hi.
yeah, I'll go ahead. I think I'll go Vicky up now, and we go back to Pantip for the second part of the question.
Can
Go
I?
ahead, Vicky.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. So today I should celebrate have a junior golf star tournament in Vietnam, and there are two winners. And there is a little boy. He is 12 years old, but he hit 75 strokes in this tournament. So he may go to play AJGA tournament in Thailand in May. And we would like to ask for him that AJGA a good pathway to lead him to the far future to develop in golf. And I heard that when he a junior play in AJGA, he can collect the stars, something like that, the stars. And then when he collect enough the stars, he can go to study in US, something like that. Is it right, Mr. Job?
I think with your first part of the question, I think AJGA is not, I mean, it's not the only pathway to playing college golf, but in my opinion, I think AJGA is the best path to college golf since it is at a high level, a much higher level than other pathways. And it is when college coaches do look at the scores. They do put a lot of emphasis on AJGAs. So I think that is the best pathway to college golf.
Okay, so what is a requirement to be accepted a scholarship or something like that to learn in US with AJGA? How many stars, something like that?
Well, the way stars work, stars don't guarantee your way into college.
Okay.
They're just the way stars work is that they are a way to get into AJGA tournaments. So stars are just solely for AJGA purposes.
Oh.
And the more stars you do have, the higher chance you have to go to play in these AJGAs.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
So yeah, can I interject here? It's basically the chances to go to college golf is the exposure to coaches, right? The coaches from the college, and it's basically their supportive decision that got accepted into college. But if you play in any tournament, better choose the tournament that these coaches give high regards or see the importance, and they will go and see the players. So AJGA is the ones that coaches do go a lot more than other tournaments. So that's why it gives you more exposure that way to the ones who are important in making decisions.
I understand. So the decision to accept a student to learn in college golf will belong to the coach, like a man
Coach,
team or
correct.
woman team coach,
Uh-huh.
and he will go to watch the tournament.
Right.
So the more tournament we play, the more chance we will get attention from the coach.
George, you wanna expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with what you just said, that the more exposure you have to college coaches, the higher chances of you playing college golf is. And AJGA is just one of those chances that you can get to get exposed to colleges. So going back to your question, like stars don't correlate to getting into college.
Thank you. And did
The
you
stars get you into the good ones, right?
thank you.
Stars.
And I have a last question. Now, Mr. Chok, how did you go to the college golf? You get the exposure to the coach, or which pathway?
Which pathway I took? Is that
Yes,
your question?
like some coach came to a tournament and what you play or what?
Oh yeah, I mean, I played in a countless amount of AJGA tournaments, and I would see coaches there all the time.
Okay.
And they're just there to see how you play and how you handle yourself.
Mm.
But that's how my path to college golf was. They came to me to see how I would play.
I understand. Okay. Thank you very much for your reply.
I think coaches follow not just to see actual tournaments, but I think your content in social media, they watch that as well. They talk to people, and I think the more chance that you have your track record, your performance up there, they know you even better. They remember the names, they see the name, and they recognize. So this is something that your kid has to keep doing. And it's not the quantity, but you have to choose which tournament to go that will catch the attention of these coaches as well.
Thank you very
All
much.
right. Yeah.
Thank
Can
you.
I go back to Pantip? The second part of the questions that George haven't addressed yet. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi. It's actually me, Wes, who asked the question, but I just use my mom's phone as Pantiv. Yeah. So
Oh,
like
okay.
the other part of the question was what's like the attitude you should have or give when you're talking to the coaches, whether it's like virtually or you're meeting them in person? Like, is there like any like piece of advice for me if I'm actually gonna meet a coach or I have like meetings with a coach to talk to them?
Yeah, I don't know if you would change your attitude that much. Of course, you want to be really welcoming and excited to meet them, but I don't think that you want to just put on like a face or like a side to you that just to please them, because if you do end up at their school, you're gonna be trying to put on this face or this act for your entire 4 years. I think you just want to be yourself, but also be respectful of them.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah. I think when you playing, it's how you be courteous on the course, that's something that they like to see outside of before you hit the ball, even, before and after. I think it's how you conduct yourself throughout, and that becomes your reality, and so you're like that all the time, and you with or without having coaches watching you. I think that's gonna be helpful. Yeah. Okay. So can we take another question, please? Okay. Okay. If there's no other question, let me ask. What do you think mental and emotional well-being plays a role in your golf career? And as a kid, how you develop that?
So, I mean, going back to what I said earlier, if you're not happy on the golf course, you're not happy with being there, like there's really no point in being there. You're just kind of just putting this mental strain on yourself, and it ultimately, if you don't like being there, it's like a job. So you're out there for the entire day. You do want, there's no point in being out there by yourself, like feeling sad or anything. You should just always enjoy being out there. So what was the other part of the question?
Well, basically, because we need the emotional there. Then, how do you develop that or strengthen your mental well-being?
Well, it does. How you do perform on the golf course does ultimately come back to how you practice. So if you can practice like being emotionally aware of your feelings, it will be a lot more easier on the golf course. So how you train does play a big part in how you play.
So it's like when you train, when you practice, you always think of that as your real game. And so do you deal with the challenges while you're practicing? If you deal it well, that's how it's gonna carry on your tournament, right?
Yeah, like how I practice, I wish I had noticed this, like known this sooner. To practice routines and practice different shots and trying to randomize your practice as much as possible, because that's how it is on the golf course. It's not just a flat lie or calm wind or like this easy bump and run shot. It's like all how you handle these different situations that you're faced with and trying to replicate it as much as possible during practice is very important, in my opinion.
All right. I got one last questions from Vicky. Is there much pressure playing in the college team, and is there any player who can't stay in the team but quit? Okay, Josh. Like, is there a pressure, so much pressure that maybe one could not go through with it?
No, I would say like overall, it's been a good experience playing college golf. There is going to be pressure at times, like in most things in life, but there is pressure when you're in tournaments. You're playing for more than just yourself. You're playing for your team and the school that you're playing for. So of course there's going to be a little bit of pressure, but it's how you handle the pressure is very fun in my eyes.
All right. I think that concludes our webinar today, and I would like to encourage everyone to ask your AR representative, any questions that you may have, any concerns and advices. I think AR is here to help you, and we don't have limits into as how many questions to ask, how many Zoom call you can schedule. So please take advantage of that. And for George, thank you so much for spending time with us today, enlightening with lots of insights. And I wish you all the best in playing and in school. And so thank you everyone for joining us. See you in the next webinar. Thank you. Bye-bye, George.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much for having me.
Bye. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.